Hello there, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I am your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. Now today I'd like to talk to you about a humble item which we probably all have at home, which make life a little bit more comfortable for us. And it is of course the humble slipper. Now the reason I speak about this item today is because I believe that all gentlemen should seek to combine some style with their comfort, and the slipper is something which allows us to do that. Because as much as I love wearing my brogues and my Oxfords when I'm out and about, cutting a dash around town, or going to work and wanting to look smart and highly presentable, when I come home I need something a little bit more comfortable that offers protection as well, because I'm a father of a young man, and I remember quite a few years ago, as I'm sure many of you do who've got young kids, or maybe your uncles or older brothers, to other children. But striding around the house barefooted, you'll be walking across the carpet, and of course hiding in the deep pile somewhere will be that errant Lego brick, which will provide you with a discomforting Lego related injury as you step upon it. There are few things in life less pleasurable than stepping on an unexpected Lego brick, and hence the slipper becomes a necessary protective item to wear at home. First of all, I'd like to define what I'm referring to as a slipper, and that's typically a light shoe, usually made of soft leather or fabric, which is designed to just be slipped onto the foot, hence the term slipper, as something that we wear indoors, generally speaking, for comfort rather than practicality. Now, as ever, I like to look back into the history of any item that I'm buying, because I can't just go out and buy something. I like to learn about things, because I am on a journey to Chap Nirvana, and everything that I buy is an opportunity to learn more. And of course, the history of the slipper is rich and goes back many centuries. But here in the West, we know that there have been references to slippers in writings which can be dated around 1470, going back that far, for sure. But actually, in the modern use, the slipper, as we think about it today, really started to emerge in the Victorian era here in England, in Britain, because the Victorian gentleman would be out walking around the streets in his boots or shoes, and of course the streets weren't finely paved as they are today. There would be lots of grit and detritus on the road that he would be likely to pick up in the tread of his footwear. So when he came to his house, he would prefer to take off his shoes or boots, his outdoor footwear, and leave it in his boot room and slip into a pair of house shoes, the slipper, which has become known to us today. And that was how the gentleman would dress while he was at home. Now, because of this appetite for slippers, a discernible industry manufacturing these items started to grow in the north of England. And as ever, by happenstance, because there were large felt factories in the north of England, and many of the people who worked in these factories would often take away scraps of the discarded and unused felt, and they would make that into a pair of soft shoes that they would wear at home. And as a consequence, these slippers made of felt started to become a viable, commercially available item, and really the rest is history, and we're still wearing them today. Now, as you can imagine, as a chap, I'm not just somebody who goes to a shop and buys something. I'm either looking for a bargain or a deal or an opportunity to learn more about something. So a few months ago, I was thinking about slippers when I was visiting a nearby city, Cardiff, capital city of Wales, and I was just walking around a high-end shoe emporium. And within that shoe shop, I noticed a display for these slippers, badged up as Drapers of Glastonbury. Now, this picked my attention because I could see they were very classically elegant traditional men's slippers. I'd never heard of the company, but of course Glastonbury is a town I am familiar with. It's only 20 miles from my home address, here where I sit today. So I thought, here is an opportunity to discover more about an item which I've taken for granted over the entirety of my life, and I'm very pleased I did so. So when I had this idea in my head, I delved into some research about the brand of Drapers and where they sit in the pantheon of slipper makers. Because I should tell you these slippers were not inexpensive. They were for sale between £50 and £100, which is fairly a lot when most slippers in the UK in a sort of department store of a traditional manufacturer would cost about £20 to £30. So they were certainly a premium item, and I wanted to know more. And I discovered that Drapers is a brand that has been around for something like 85 years, hand manufacturing slippers in the Somerset town of Glastonbury. And the company is in 4th generation of family ownership and still cranking out these slippers at a fine old pace, not 20 miles from where I am. They make approximately 1,000 pairs of slippers on any given week, of which 25% are exported outside the boundaries of the United Kingdom, globally, where they are favoured and worn by celebrities, royalty, and just internationally well-dressed men all around the world who favour the traditional style of slipper. Now, you know what sort of a guy I am. I don't like paying a penny more than I have to for any item. So I went onto the Drapers website, where they incidentally also sell all of their products, and I discovered that they had a factory shop in their actual factory about 20 miles away. So I bundled the family into the car for another one of my harebrained trips into the sartorial world, fortunately not very far this time, and we pitched up at the Drapers factory store on a Saturday morning. Now, it was nothing beautiful to behold from the outside. It gave the impression of being a true, genuine factory shop, and I was absolutely on the money. Because when you walk into the factory shop, it is in essence also walking into the work floor of the factory, because whereas a portion of the floor of the old factory is put aside for items for sale, you've also got the men and women of the factory working there at their machines, fashioning these beautiful slippers there in front of your very eyes. And all of the machinery and equipment used is visible and can be seen. And I took some photos while I was in there, and it was a fascinating insight into the world of slipper manufacture. Now, as ever, the beauty of visiting a factory store means you can avail yourself of some fantastic prices, which can't be matched in any sale or in any shop. Quite often, because many of the items which they sell in the factory shop are substandard, imperfect, end of line, or in some way unable to be sold through the normal retail system. And it allows you to sort of jump in and make a purchase at a much reduced price. So, the first thing I selected for general daily wear around the home for my house shoes or slippers was this product here. Now, this is called the Anton slipper. It is the most common product sold by Drapers, and it is a sheepskin upper. So if you the outer shell of the slipper is made of sheepskin, and inside is a beautifully soft and luxuriant sheepskin lining, which is warm, comforting, and incredibly pleasant to wear. And the sole is made of a silky smooth suede. I believe it's a Scottish manufactured suede, and again it makes it a pleasure to wear around the house. Now, this slipper, I believe, because it's also available in many different colours and a few different materials. It can be purchased in a leather outer shell as well as this standard sheepskin, but it retails, I believe, from about £80 to £100. In the store, £35, so a great saving. It takes it from being an item that I wouldn't ordinarily spend that sort of money on to something which I would happily spend £35 for a classic, elegant, long-lasting pair of, don't forget, artisan handmade slippers by a workman who's been at his or her bench creating these slippers for many years in the traditional way. Now, whilst this is my daily wearer, in the evenings after I have a shower, when I tend to go barefoot, obviously sheepskin isn't great to wear barefoot because it'll absorb perspiration, and over time unpleasant odours will occur. So in the evening I tend to prefer to wear a mural style slipper which has got a fabric lining, easier for keeping clean, better for wearing against the bare foot. And as I was looking around the factory store, I came across this Kevin model. Now, don't ask me how they choose the names for these items. Anton I can live with. Kevin, maybe a bit more challenging to understand why they've picked that one. But this, again, classic shoe, a leather outer, fabric interior, and again the sole is made of a silky smooth Scottish suede, which makes it very comfortable, padded and lovely for just walking around the house, and as I say, avoiding any Lego ambushes as you're crossing the deep pile carpet. So my experience of visiting the Drapers factory store was very pleasant. I ended up buying 2 pairs of slippers, and I should have said these retail price £50 in the store, for sale in the factory £25, so 50% off retail price, and you know, a pleasure to go in, try them on, pick them, look at all the other items. A huge range of different models and slippers. My son bought a pair as well, so it was a family trip out, and we all came away all slippered up to keep ourselves comfortable and warm as we walk around the house in the months ahead. So as I've always said, when you fancy buying something new, discover what's available near you. Do the research. Find out if there's a factory shop. And if it's not near you, give them a call and see if they will put some in the post to you. While I was talking to the young lady when I was buying these, the sales assistant, she told me she was sending a pair to Tokyo through the post. So anything is possible. All you need to do generally is ask, and many of these manufacturers, they offer these incredible levels of personal service which are unheard of in any other situation. So there we go. I'm going to go back to my house now and walk around in sheepskin lined comfort. So I hope you've enjoyed this video today on a bit about the history of the slipper, and also my experience of adding a couple of more pairs into my collection. If you have enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget, if you want to see more like this, click that subscribe button. And if you'd like to practically support the channel, you can buy me a coffee, and you will find the link on how to do that in the show notes below. So until the next time, you be comfortable as you walk around your home, and I will see you again very soon.